Alrighty. Sure. I actually have my tablet plugged in. Slightly important. Okay. Now, first and foremost, I completely forgot to send the images because I started drawing like the scenery traditionally, and I forgot to send it to myself so that I could actually pull it up on computer. Unfortunately, Discord mobile is well, it sure is something right now, let me tell you. Okay. Open that. Which that is garbage quality. This works. Save image. Put in references. Can't be bothered. Image. References. Cool. And then we pull these in. Where do I put them? New layer. New layer. Yeah, not, not the highest quality photos I've ever taken, but it does the job. Let's move this. Invert. And can I cut selection? No. Edit. Cut. Does that work? Yes. I'm a genius. And we do the same with this one. Move it over. Select what we want. A little closer. Okay, select what we want. And invert selection. Edit. Cut. And bam. Magic. Alright, now I've had some ideas of like drawing the local market for this series rattling around my head recently. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to go ahead and do that. I think this is Ocean's Mage. Yeah, and then this is the Mist guy. So let's make this a little bigger. No, I want to section off the parts. Well, I can just use the square for this. Can I? No, that will cut off his hat. Never mind. We'll see. Control V, and we have just that section. And then we grab this. Control C. Or no, drop down here. Control C, Control V. Gotta make sure we're doing that properly. And then we grab the little one. We'll see. Control V. And then we can just delete this. There. We have them all separated. So I want to work on his outfit first really quickly, because get rid of that. Because, you know, I figure I may as well make sure that he actually has his outfit looking decent before I go ahead and draw the scene, which has him as the focal point-ish, kind of the focal point. Like, he's in the foreground. I mean, the focal point is more, it's generally a scene, like I'm not gonna try and make the focus him, but he is very directly in the foreground, so it's still something that you're gonna see very obviously, so you're gonna want it to look decent, at least. So it's relatively similar to his normal outfit, you know, with like the sort of coat cloak thing going on. But I want to try and make it look like a thicker material. And more like a proper fabric instead of plasticky-ish. Because he has a sort of raincoat usually. Because he often works with mist magic, and like water magic and stuff, he tends to wear this sort of like raincoat material clothing, so that he can avoid getting like condensation all over his clothes and then getting soaked basically every time he does anything. So instead, he tends to wear a sort of like plasticky material where there will be condensate, but it's not gonna like soak into the fabric, and generally he can just like shake it off and then he'll be dry again. But since it's winter, that's not a very insulating material. So instead, I want to give him a proper, like proper cold wear. Because the climate he's in is usually fairly, like, neutral. You know, it's not hot, but it's not cold either. But, you know, when it gets to winter, it does snow there. So, you know, I want him to have, like, cold climate clothes for when that comes around. You know, pull the winter jacket out of the closet. Which direction would this go? It would be from this side. Belts are so confusing. Like, yeah, objectively in real life how they work makes sense to me, but trying to draw them is a nightmare. Because, well, wait, the actual metal piece would be on this side, but the belt goes over, so it'd show up on this side. Oh my god, this is terrible. Belt clasps. And then there tends to be like a loop right after. And I want it to look like a thicker material belt. So I give it edges and also make it not want to fold much. I don't really think I need to make it that long. We give it edges. I don't know. I like a movable object on a character's clothes, though, because it means that I can have the object move when they're moving, which looks good. Yeah, something like this. That feels a bit long, though, honestly. Shorten that a little. Actually, I could have it so that it, like, folds over. That he, like, bent it through. Although, while that does look nice, I can't imagine that's very comfortable. Although it doesn't necessarily have to be, like, belt material. It could be more like cloth. Yeah, maybe it's like a fuzzy cloth material. I'll think about it. And then I want this to look thicker. So we try and keep the, like, bends sort of soft, like any creases are going to be a bit softer, not as, like, sharp, because the thinner material it is, the easier that material can, like, crease at a sharp angle. So, like, a thin, like, button-up shirt or something, if you scrunch that up, it's going to have, like, relatively sharp sort of angles with its, you know, creases. You're going to get those, like, sharper bends and stuff, which indicates better that it's a thinner material. But the thicker a material gets, the less space it has to actually bend on itself. So even if on the inside it's that same sort of harsh bend, on the outside it has to account for the material thickness. So it's gonna look rounder. So, and generally thicker materials tend to be a little stiffer, so they don't want to bend as much. So your actual, like, creases are gonna be softer. They're not gonna be as harsh. The material itself will have a harder time creasing, so it'll just have less of them. So generally having those edges be a little rounder helps a bit. And to clarify, I don't entirely know what I'm talking about. I'm not like an expert on clothing materials or like creases or anything, but just generally what I've been able to pick up over time as I've progressed in learning about art. Hey, welcome in, Jacori. Jacori Ray. That's a cool name. Yeah, so thicker materials, generally trying to avoid sharp angles. Makes them look thinner. That's just what I've garnered from stuff, at least. Yeah, I want this to be wider. It's like a big worm hood. Where's this neck? The neck's like here-ish. So we'll have this maybe go out this way. This seems mildly impractical for actually wearing on one's head, though, because of where it starts. Like, pulling it up from there. Well, actually, that leaves room for, like, a scarf if you have it actually on, so I guess that makes sense. Okay. And then sleeves, normally he has, like... What kind of sleeves does he have, actually? I don't remember if he has bell sleeves or, like, open ones. No, I think I gave him bell sleeves because it's the closed cuffs, which allows for, like, less water to get on the inside of his clothes. Or did I just give him normal sleeves too? I don't know. I think I'll have some like slightly wider sleeves. You know, not like draping down dramatically like robes, but not too close to the arm either. Again, not putting too many creases in there, even if I want to, because I want to try and make the material look thick. And if I do add creases, they should generally be larger as well. I'm not gonna bother drawing in the hands. So we maybe like one big one. I don't want it to just be a straightaway either. Yeah, I generally tend to draw characters with thinner materials, especially in like arm areas. So I'm not super familiar with how to crease thicker fabrics in a way that looks appealing and also looks like it's an actual thicker fabric. And it's gonna look the same on both sides. Gets the point across well enough. I don't need to draw both. Save myself the hassle. I think I should pull the belt out a little bit more because, again, with it being a thicker fabric, you need to account for the actual width of the fabric itself too, and not just the width of the body underneath. Something like that, and then it'll sort of go over here. It's a bit of a sharper sort of angle than his usual outfit, because I believe the like his usual coat has a sort of like egg-shaped opening. If you look at it from the front, it's more like circular, I guess. But it like opens a lot higher. But since this is a winter coat, I want it to open a little lower so that more of the body is covered by fabric. You know? Keep the boy warm. We don't want him freezing. That would be tragic. What side is this folding over on? Left over right. I can always change which side it's on later. That doesn't have to stick. I mean, it's not a button-up, it's a belt closure, so honestly that can, like, vary whenever I so please to make it look appealing to the camera. So it pulls out this way, and yeah, I think no creases on the actual, like, lower half of the coat, just to try and avoid that sort of thin material look. Like, I think we want to pull this up even further, actually, so it's more like a straight sort of coat. You know, no wacky, wild, like... No, I think I do actually like this angle better. It looks more interesting. So let's pull this down a bit. Like having that sort of triangular, while he has more like circles in his design usually. This, while triangular in nature, still has that like the front is higher than the back look, which is what I have in his normal design, and I want to have a bit of cohesion between the two. So we keep that aspect, I think. And then, although I've had this drop a lot lower than it seems this would be, because this is like at about the knee, and then this is below it noticeably. What if I move it up? Try to avoid grabbing the leg. Move this up a bit so it cuts off at about the knee. And we do the same on this side. We move it up till we've matched the height. And I did not make that high enough. Okay. Let's move this one up too. That I will need to shrink slightly because it is in between the legs. Yeah. I think I do make that a little shorter. Again. So we pull that up even further. Avoid grabbing the legs again. And then move this up a bit, squish it a little. I don't actually have to move it, I can just adjust it slightly. Yeah, I think I do prefer it opening a little higher up. I think that looks a bit nicer. Thank you. And yeah, actually, you can ask whenever you want. I forgot to mention that part when people joined. But so generally just, you know, throw your stuff in chat. I'm mostly doing this as filler in between. So that, you know, if no one's like requesting anything, I'm not just sitting here doing nothing. So feel free to ask, you know, whenever. Like a simple description in the chat. Yeah, something like this, I think. Mikoto Suo from School Rumble. Google time. Alright. Mikoto Suo School Rumble. Yes. Oh, she's cute. And then Plastic Man. Like the DC Comics superhero? Oh, neat. Cool, let me grab a reference image of her. Where's a good full body shot? Ooh, with a close-up on the head, too. That's a good picture. Save image. References. Okay. Pull this in. And insert is... What? Okay. Oh, Credit didn't like that. Insert as new layer. Okay. Oh, that is a tiny image. In all fairness, I am at like 6,000 by 6,000, so it's somewhat to be expected. Okay, that didn't get mutilated as much as I expected it to. Put that in the corner. Hide this. And then cool. The weird dot. Alright. And then Plastic Man. Oh, one of the images on Google is the superhero guy with his arms stretched out saying 6 feet apart. Okay. DC Comics has like really interesting superhero designs. And then like their like power concepts are intriguing. I'm not really sure what to do with this. Oh my god. Because like this guy is essentially a Stretch Armstrong. And I mean, there's like yeah, he's pretty much the same powers as what's her name from The Incredibles or something. But you know, he's a guy, so the people animating him got a lot more creative. Oh, we love commercial animation. They will do so much more with different characters in so many more interesting ways. Because I could just put her in the outfit, but I feel like it's more interesting to screw around with the actual superpower too. Because that's the kind of thing that can get like really interesting visually. Because it's not just dependent on the character's environment, but the character themselves has like distinct visual differences when using their powers and when not using their powers. You know, and this is more to an extreme than with some other superhero characters, because you know, some of them they can like light their hands on fire or I don't know, turn invisible, etc, etc. But I mean, with this one it's essentially body horror, but for kids, kid-friendly body horror. How fun. Do a reverse Spider-Man. Or no, that would be a Spider-Man, just long ass arms. Elastigirl, thank you. I completely forgot her name. I have not watched that movie in so very long. I turn my phone brightness up because I'm using that to watch chat, and it's like significantly darker than my monitor. Yeah, because we could just go the classic outfit swap route. What is going on with this leg over here? That's not proportional. I have no idea what's going on with this pose. Okay. Thinking. No, wait, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen, though. Hold on. What in the world is this? Save image. References. I need to insert this new layer. Move this. What is that? He's posing for the camera. Oh my god. It's beautiful. It's the most wondrous thing I've ever seen. Oh no, that is... It's like the Yowie Hands meme, but so much worse. His upper arm is longer than his lower one. That's horrific. I'm getting a little distracted, but this is an anatomical nightmare. Wait a minute. Okay, so his knee is over here, which is about mid-shin. This man is horrific. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Okay, you know what? I don't want to draw that pose. That's so funny. The real question is if I can figure out how to recreate such a terrible anatomical monster. This is an affront to nature. I love him. Okay, and then there's like the head. Okay. Yeah, that's like here. Oh, I'm given creative freedom, and the first thing I do is commit crimes. Wait, he's looking more like this way. See, the fun part is that generally I don't really draw like superhero stuff all that often. Um, I tend to stick more towards like fantasy genres than I do like comic book stuff. I appreciate a good comic book character, of course. And I've really been meaning to watch like the Miles Morales Spider-Man movies, like the Into the Spider-Verse stuff recently. Um, there's a lot of movies that I've got to catch up on, uh, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I do find it mildly entertaining that Marvel is imploding. That's pretty funny. That's a great show right there, watching the demise of Marvel as a company. And just Disney in general, really. Like Disney in general is suffering. Is Disney and Marvel? I don't remember if they're connected in any way. I have no idea. I haven't bothered to keep up with who owns who. Um, but like I know that Disney's getting absolutely brutalized. Uh, and Marvel is also doing tragically. This is giving that one uh like pose trend that went around a little while back where it's like this but like terrible. Just an evil, awful, horrible version of that. It's beautiful. God, and honestly, this isn't even as like stretched out as the other one was. This is a relatively like slightly tamer version of the original pose. Comic book artists do some wild shit with like poses and stuff and like character positioning and angles and like shots and stuff. It's really interesting to look at. Because they just do not care. They just go for shit and have fun with it, and it is insanity. In like the best possible way. It's almost nightmare fuel sometimes. Like if you really think about it, it's like, wow, if that existed in real life, I would be scared. But like the pose itself and like the anatomy and the positioning makes sense in comics. Not this. This is different, but like it's something that realistically wouldn't be able to exist, but it looks good. It's like bending the rules in a way that looks nice, so it works anyways. Um and then of course, with superpowers, you get comic artists being given the freedom to do literally whatever they want. And you have a freak of nature like this guy. Uh, very entertaining. I gotta read comics more. Even if it's just for the sake of, like, artistic enrichment. Cause, like, they got good art in there. They got good art, good artists, and interesting concepts. Oh, where's the other leg in all of this? That's the real question. Okay, I think I've extended the torso more than I have the like arms. I think if we reverse that slightly. Move this up a little bit. And then bring the arms a bit further down. There we go. That's more like it. Get those extendo arms. Okay, and then the other leg is sort of like all the way. What even is this? It's like all the way this way. Nightmarish. Okay, so I guess it'd sort of bend from like here-ish, and then goes over that way, up at an angle, because like about here. Oh, this does not make sense perspective-wise. I guess the knee is like further back. Yeah. I don't think this guy's knee is even actually touching the ground now that I think about it. Because his knee is like here. And with how close it is to the camera sizing-wise, I don't think it's touching the ground. I want to try and avoid it hitting the hand. Just for readability purposes. So we try and pull that down a little more. And then we can have this going up this way. I made this so much more difficult for myself than I needed to. I really could have just drawn the character and the outfit and been done with it. But this is more interesting. You know, sometimes you need a little bit of suffering for the intrigue, for the drama, the character development. Okay, I think this works. What have I done? Oh no, I've made a monster. Oh dear. Oh dear lord. Alright. Let's give her hair. Okay, so she's got classic anime bangs. Does she have a part? No. Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah, I'll clean this up a little bit in a second. I just gotta figure out what in the world is happening here. First and foremost. That needs to be a little longer. Okay, and then this is sort of like here-ish. And he's got the belt thing going on. Like B-stripe belts. What is this? What am I looking at with like the original character? The design cohesion is questionable, I'll say. I'm not really sure it indicates exactly what he does, I'll be honest. Yeah, I don't think this does a very good job of like describing what his power is. It's very nondescript, I'll say. Okay, and then let's move the hand up a little bit so it's interacting with the chin more. Yeah, so it looks like she's actually resting her hand on her chin and not just placing it there, kind of. Or resting her chin on her hand. I mean, I don't really have to, like, I could move the head down, but it's kind of irrelevant which one I move. The arm can be as long as I so please. Okay. Oh, no, I did not want to press that button. My stylus has like buttons on it that I don't use, so um they're mapped to things that I don't use in Krita. So whenever I accidentally hit them, it's like, oh no, not again. Okay, let's add the visor. Yeah, I don't think I ever would have drawn something like this without mild prompting. This is great. And the magic of cartoon logic, you can see the visor over her bangs. I think we have it be like thinner under the bangs though. Just for the, I should make sure that's lined up properly. Okay. Yeah, so we draw it normally under the bangs. And then we draw thin line versions of it over the bangs so that we can still see it, but it's not like jarring. You know, anime logic, you can see the eyes even though they're not, or even though they're like under the bangs, because in real life, you actually can see through people's bangs relatively easily. Like anime bangs are like drawn as like solid hair. You know, they don't want to draw every individual hair, that doesn't necessarily look good, but in real life it's generally relatively thin. And I mean, it's easier to see through from the inside than it is the outside, but point still stands. You can often see people's eyes through their bangs. Okay. Give her a nose. Yeah. This is... Oh, this is something. Yeah, her head's a little more squished than that. Okay. Oh, this is so fun, though. I'm usually very picky with my anatomy. Like, I try to make it, like, relatively accurate. I'll be very fiddly with making sure that things are, like, anatomically correct. But So screwing around with a character where it's like, actually don't do that, very specifically don't do that, is intriguing. That hand looks weird. I'll come back to it later. That's the fun part of art. Sometimes you just do something later. You leave it as is for now and come back when you got a fresh mind and try again. No, I'm mostly a... I found that I'm mostly a sketch artist. Sketching is my favorite part of the art process, so I find myself not finishing things very often because my brain will be like, oh, but we did the fun part, so let's move on and do the fun part for another thing. I'm trying to get out of that habit because I do like finishing stuff and I like seeing the final product and all that. It's very satisfying, but I just don't do it very often. So I tend to stick in the sketch phase mostly. And I mean, this isn't me doing actual line art. If I was doing actual line art, we would be zoomed into the canvas. But I think the sketch layer is a little too dark underneath, so I'll probably, when I'm done with this part, like, lower the opacity to keep the effect. But, like, without leaving it at the same, like, brightness, or, saturation. Opacity. I just said the word. The same, without keeping it at the same opacity, because it is a bit overbearing on the cleanup lines. That is the fun part about doing things digitally, is you don't have to erase stuff to lower the opacity. So if you are doing line art, you can just whoop your sketch, barely visible, but you can still draw over it. So you can get, you know, the lines exactly where you want them without having to worry about opacity garbage. It's very, very useful. There's so many things of like digital art that I really appreciate. Because I love traditional art. Like I love drawing on paper with pencils and stuff. It's a very nice experience, but there are just some things that you just can't do traditionally, like copy paste or moving things around on your paper or perfect erasing. Like perfect erasing where it's completely gone and it's like it was never there. You know? Or like being able to shift and adjust things without having to redraw them entirely. Because like I can just select and I can rotate and adjust and resize things all I want digitally. You can't really do that traditionally. So it's very nice quality of life stuff when it comes to digital art. But I find that since I'm more familiar with traditional, I tend to be better at starting things off traditionally and then improving them digitally. So for example, you know, these sort of sketches of like areas and landscapes and character art and like mapping out where things are and how they should generally look, I find to be a little easier traditionally. And I think it is in part because, or like also a difference between like drawing on a phone versus drawing on a computer or a tablet where you have access to like pen pressure and like pressure opacity. Because let me tell you, pen pressure and pressure opacity is a lifesaver when it comes to digital art, because it's, when you're on a phone, at least older models, I don't know if newer models have that ability, but at least mine, it doesn't have that option because of how the screen works. So it's just whatever size you pick is the one you got. And being able to have that sort of like fluidity matches traditional art a lot better, which makes certain things much easier. Is this finally my chance for a request? Yes, it is. You've come on time. You're here. I'll be doing request streams every Friday for the rest of December. Something something the spirit of giving or whatever. I don't know. It's a fun prompt for the month. Because I mean, again, like the thing I'm drawing right now, I would not have drawn this of my own volition without a little prompting. I would have never thought, yes, Plastic Man from DC Comics, but anime girl. And then, you know, I get a request for it, and it's like, oh my god, this is hilarious. I actually love this. Sorry if I sound so hyped, just really stressed today. Yeah, no worries. It's alright. You know, sometimes you have an iffy day. And I mean, hey, you have been asking for a while, so that's fair. Yeah, so, whenever you think of your request, just drop a quick description in chat. Or if it's like a character that already exists, just like give me their name and I can look them up. Oh, okay. I'm drawing the hair a little too poofy. It's more straight hair. This needs to be erased. What are the asterisks? Looking nice so far, thank you. Yeah, I actually really like this. It's hilarious. What did I just... Okay, this. And then we... Oh, no, links, don't go through in my chat. If you can just put, like, a quick description of the character. Please don't put links in chat. They don't go through for a reason. If you could put a quick description of the character, I would appreciate that. You know, it's nothing on you specifically, it's just, general safety stuff online. You know, random links in a Twitch chat can sometimes lead to questionable places, so I just have them turned off entirely. You could describe them in chat. Okay, this isn't... Hold on. get rid of the sketch layer. This hair has given me a lot more trouble than I was expecting it to. Yeah, it looks okay, I think. Like that a little bit. Add a couple flyaways. Add a this is, I've made this shape very difficult to put a flyaway over. That works, okay. And then these bangs could be redone a bit. They're a little thin looking. That's the wrong brush. Thicken the lines a little. Straighten this out a bit on this side. There we go. I think that looks... that looks alright. Keep clicking the sketch brush and not the actual ink brush. Hey, like I said, you can put a description in chat, just so that I can actually still have Stream Manager open. I'll be keeping things on Twitch right now. Okay, let's clean up all these extra bits of lines. Yeah, because I only have one monitor, so I have Stream Manager in my chat on my phone. So I tend to try and keep it on that throughout stream. Okay, I think that hand looks a little better. Right. We add the rest of her arm. I forgot that line was there. And then her leg, and I think that should be all of the external lines, and then we'll just draw in her outfit. And I think I'll color her. Yeah, a bit of like rough coloring. Just because this is funny. This is hilarious. I love this. This is gonna be the first page on my Instagram post. Yeah, because I posted the last request streams drawings. I don't remember if that was actually the last post I've made on Instagram. Which if so, that is a tragedy. I really need to post more. My poor followers. They're starving. But like this is great. Who wouldn't want to click on this, honestly? You know, well, I guess not click. If you're on Instagram, you're just scrolling past, but like who wouldn't want to swipe to the right to see what other beautiful things I've drawn? Oh, it's glorious. It's beautiful. This is a monster. I've committed a sin. This is a crime. Oh my god. Wonderful. Alright, cool. I'll read that in a second once I'm done with this one. Okay, so then there's the this thing. No. Oh, long, continuous, awkwardly shaped line below the It's fine, we can cheese it. We just engage the incredible skill of making two lines look like they are one line. It'll be great. Yes, it works. Okay. And then we add this. And the outline to her belt, and then we'll color it in without having the sketch layer visible. Oh god, I can't see what I'm doing. It's the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Oh, this belt is gonna cause problems. Well, actually, if I just follow what I did previously, it should be fine. Ish. Well, it's something. No. We'll draw that in a second later. Okay, and then... Oh, this is on the same layer. Whoops. Hold on, let's, Control-C, Control-V that. And then... cut. That didn't work. I'm on the wrong layer, that's why it didn't work. We cut, and then... There we go. So we have a red, which... No, I think I want to do it through this. That also makes it, merge a little easier, so we'll want to darken and saturate that red so that it's a little more visible even with the opacity. And then we fill all of this. Trying to do it all in one go, just to avoid overlap, because with an opacity brush, things can get a bit wonky if you run them over each other, like that. Thankfully, I should be able to fix that with a bit of blending. If we go down here... God damn it. I forgot to make that a different layer. Whoops. Well, looks like we can fix it by just doing it better. Try to avoid the lines because I don't want to have to erase too much, but it's always fine to have a little bit of erasing to do. Nothing wrong with a bit of erasing. If it makes your life easier, then so be it. Blend this out a bit so it's actually the same color-ish. Okay, and we'll generally try to do all the coloring in one and then do all the erasing in one. Keeping things in like similar steps tends to make it a little easier to manage. I've found. Yeah, I think the most interesting thing for me when it comes to like progression in drawing and how I go about things in programs is that I will usually use the circle erase tool, which is this one, but I've found that this one really likes doing opacity sometimes for no reason. And like I've edited the actual brush's stats or whatever to not have opacity, and then it will just randomly go back and have it again for some reason. So I've ended up just getting used to the rectangle eraser, even though like right now my circle eraser isn't pressure opacity'd. But I've gotten so used to the rectangle eraser that it feels weird to use a circle one now. Okay. God, some of the transitions for the music are so unnecessarily long. So there's just a swath of silence, and I have to think and go, has my music stopped? Is the playlist over? And then I remember that no, the playlist is significantly longer than my stream times. I did that on purpose. I purposefully made it so that my, I merged two playlists in a folder so it could be longer than stream time because I was having issues with, like, my music stopping midstream. Okay. And then we take the yellow. That's an eraser. We take the yellow and we go over this. And it is very desaturated because of the opacity, but I want the sketch to be visible underneath. So, so be it. And then she's got blue hair. I can't in good conscience let her hair be that desaturated. I think I'll let the hair be the... Well, no, okay, let's be sneaky. Let's be real sneaky about it using opacity of the layer to our advantage. So we fill in her hair, specifically only her hair on this layer, and then we'll lower the opacity of the layer so that it still has the sketch showing through, but has a higher level of opacity than the rest of the colors, so that it still looks dark and doesn't look way too light. That's going into her face, whoops. Fun little artistry tricks. Wow, I missed several spots. God, drawing in the lines not very easy from this far away, but I don't want to zoom in the canvas because then I have to zoom out the canvas. This is another place where pressure, like pen pressure on the sides of a brush comes in handy, because it makes being precise far easier without having to like fill in this entire thing with like a pinprick size brush. I can still fill in the larger parts with a bigger one. But when I need the brush to be smaller so that I can like get the edges a little easier, I am still able to. That went outside the lines. Yeah, but if I do this, it's not really visible anywhere that this one out of the lines. At least not too visible. Or, I mean, didn't fill in the lines. Yeah, I think we will still finish off. That's the wrong red. Right, it was like here or something. Try to fill that in independently from the other colors, or from the rest of the red, and then we smoothen it out. And there we go. We filled the holes. Okay, so we go here, and we put this at maybe 80%? 90%. Or... Oh, wait, no, the sketch layer is on top of it. Right. If it was above the sketch layer, I would have to change the opacity, but because the sketch layer is on top of it, I can actually leave it at full opacity. I think I'll drop it to like 90% though, just so it matches with the rest of the colors a little better. And then we grab her skin color, and that's also very lightened, so I think we'll do the same thing of leaving it as is, but like dropping the opacity like 90%, or dropping it 10%. Might drop it a little lower though, I'm not sure. This is a very saturated color. The thing with the hair is that the hair was a very dark color, but it's still relatively desaturated, so it fits in with the desaturation of the clothing rather well. But the skin appears to, while being lighter, is more saturated than the hair to match its intensity. And like the color intensity of the red in her skirt. So this may need to be opacityed a little more just to desaturate it a bit. Or at least like give the like allow it to mix in a little more with the rest of the colors. Color theory is a fickle beast. I think my favorite color trick though, when it comes to color theory and stuff, is using the same color and then just putting it on different backgrounds. Because it's honestly astounding how differently our eyes will see something based on the like what's around it. Like color relativity is really important when it comes to art, because you can make something pretty much look like any color regardless of what color you're actually using for it. Like you can make blue jeans out of the color orange, entirely dependent on just what colors are around it. You know, what's your general color palette? Is it very warm? Is it very cold? What is the color of whatever's behind what you're drawing currently, etc., etc. So very simple factors that might not immediately come to mind can have such a strong effect on what it looks like. And I think that's a relatively important part of like composition, drawing, and coloring is just being able to recognize what exactly you are making and how you can use the way our brains fill in the blanks to your advantage. Because, you know, if you use like a bright blue in a warm paleted image, it's going to look weird. But if you use that orange to emulate the blue, even if it's not necessarily actually blue, it can... Where's the red? I found another spot that is not filled in. It can end up looking a lot more cohesive, even if you're, I need to make that smaller. Even if you're using something that wouldn't necessarily immediately make sense as a like color choice. Oh, it's starting to get cold outside for me, but it's not winter yet. Or I mean, it is winter, but it's not like snowing yet, and I'm very sad because I love the snow with all of my heart and being, and I want it to be snowing so bad right now, but it isn't. Like, not even for the sake of like, oh, going out making snowmen or having snowball fights or any of that. I just want to walk outside and be like, it is very cold. And also, there's little flecks of ice in the air because it's pretty. It's intriguing. I think it's fun. Yeah, see, like, this is a brown color. Like, his goggles are, like, brown in a good portion of it. But it ends up looking black, even though it's distinctly a different, well, I guess not distinctly, but it is a different color from the background. We fill this in. I'll put this on the hair layer. Another important thing when coloring is to at least try and remember where all of the spots that you need to put a certain color are. Because as you'll see, I completely forgot that there's skin on her forehead area. And I only noticed once I put in the visor. Because it's like, oh, there's something missing up there. Okay. Fill that in. Should be below that anyways. And then we put this at 90% as well, so it mixes with the rest of the colors a little better. And then we go to the sketch layer, and we realize that I missed a spot. And then we go to the sketch layer. We find another spot that I missed. And we go to the sketch layer. And we lower the opacity on this to like 70. Yeah. As if we... Yeah, I think that looks better. She's beautiful. Oh, wait. I forgot. Go with like a sort of yellowishy color. That is kind of flesh colored a little bit. Make it more golden. And we fill this in. And Can I fill this in? Come on. Yeah, okay, that looks good. And then we make sure that bit's done and add little sparkles. We add, oh god, these are so tiny. Actually put this one here and then that one. This one here. And then we lower the opacity to like 50. And then we actually lock this and we make it a much lighter yellow, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of those circles, I think. Drop it to like 70%. It's beautiful. The goggles are, oh, you're so right. You are completely correct. Shoot. I know. We will do this. And then that's the wrong one. Get rid of that. We'll do a white outline on it. That looks weird. What if I make the line art white? Does that look any better? No. Yeah, I think we stick with make it a bit darker though. Yeah, okay, that looks better. I need to remove that so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I like completely forgot there was white on the goggles. I skipped right past that part. And then we adjust the line art slightly because that looks a little wonky now. There we go. I'm gonna go back into this and grab that color again. So I can just refine the edges a little bit. It's not quite even enough. There we go. She's beautiful. She's a horrific monster, but she's beautiful. Oh my god, what have I done? What have I created? What is this? There's nothing here. Hang on a second. What actually is that? Literally nothing. Okay, well. Remove layer, I guess. Alright. Uh... Okay. New layer, new layer. Why is that so light? Am I just losing my mind? I feel like it's usually darker than this. Double left click? No. How do I adjust the brushes? Okay, well, I guess, I mean, it's not that terrible that, oh, the sketch layer is light. I just feel like it usually has more opacity than this. That's because it does. This is not right. Why is it doing that? Oh, I don't have it on black. It's a gray. No shit, it's not gonna be the same darkness. It's a different color. Whoops. Okay, alright. Uh, uh... Cool. The little symbols I give myself to be like how something is shown is bizarre sometimes. Because like I'll occasionally like write down descriptions with words, but it takes so long to write things. Why bother, you know? I need to make this smaller though. Let's put these in the corner. Make them tiny. They don't need to be big. I got like ciphers to describe things to myself. Okay, so I've done basic poses. Okay. I got an idea. I got ideas. The brain is moving. Brains aren't supposed to move. That's actually not a good thing. Can I do that with this leg structure? Is the question. I'm not entirely certain I can. Well, I can always try and then realize something doesn't work and then scrap it and try again. I get the feeling this isn't gonna work though. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work, to be honest. I don't know if I can make them all cool sitting on a building. If we do this. Yeah, not 100% I can achieve that. This looks questionable anatomically. This is... Sometimes with art, you gotta try something and see if it works, and if it doesn't, you get up and you try again with something new. But it's still good to give it a valiant effort, you know, make an attempt. But I don't think this pose is gonna work. So I think I may have to do a different pose. It will very likely, yeah, no, this isn't gonna work, because this isn't... Okay, we just, let's get rid of that. That didn't happen. That was never there. Oh, I'm doing yours right now. I put little symbols in the side to describe to myself what it is. I'm trying to figure out a pose. Yeah, because I'm not as familiar with, like, anthro leg structure as I am human leg structure. So, like, I can draw it in a basic standing pose, but... Like, I can do a basic standing pose, but I like intrigue, interest, something new. I can have him lean against a table. Your Catosy has regular legs just with fur. Oh, it has, like, human legs? Or what's that called? Plantigrade, I think. Yeah, because there's the human leg plantigrade, and then there's, like, the mammal leg digitigrade, and then there's whatever the fuck the goat legs are called, where they have, like, 16 different joints. Those things are horrific. I had to try and learn how to draw those at one point. It was something else. Okay, human legs. That I can work with. I could still do the building pose. Nah, I've already scrapped it. We've already moved on. No cool sitting on a building. Tragic. Okay. Think go with the classic, steal a pose from something else that I've already drawn. Have him, like, leaning against, like, a counter or something. It's a very thick counter, apparently. Yeah. Oh, perspective. Why am I allowing myself to do perspective? That's a terrible idea. That's a terrible, terrible idea. And yet I'm doing it anyways. My eraser's too small. Perspective is fun, though. It's interesting. It's interesting. Do wacky things with it. Okay, you've certainly made my job easier, though, because I can only do so much with digitigrade legs. I'm just not as familiar with them. So this shouldn't be that close to the character. I don't want to counter that. Maybe like here. I've moved that up somehow. Needs to go down further. Did I move it too far? Somehow, no. A little bit. Okay, so then... Yeah, I've put this character in perspective. I don't know why. I should not do that. In fact, I won't. It's unnecessary strife, and will probably go wrong and look weird, so... Let's do it this way. The fun part of when you're this early into the sketching is that you can have it like be facing 17 different directions and then just pick one. Because like technically I could shift this arm like maybe a couple pixels over and then have the character be facing this way, and then a couple pixels back and then suddenly they're facing this way at like drastically different angles. You can have a lot more like variety with how you can have a lot more freedom. I mean, like freedom with how you end up positioning things. This hand is not sized correctly. Gotta squish it. Or, yeah, there we go. And then we find that the move tool is our best friend because, oh god, no, middle of the canvas snapping. No. I hate middle of the canvas snapping. That's no fun. Why's it gotta do that? Okay. I think that works. Pull that more this way and... do the little, like, crossing the legs over thing. Standing very casually. Chilling. He's a cool cat. That leg is too far. This one will be bearing most of the weight of the character. So it'll be doing the work of like holding the character up and stuff. And then this leg is there for style factor. It's there for the coolness points. So it's not really bearing any weight, it's mostly just like loosely touching the floor. Technically could have some balancing purposes if it weren't for the fact that most of the character's weight is again on this back leg and on the arm. Because the character themselves is leaning pretty heavily backwards. I mean, they could lean more, but, you know. For the position that they're in, they're leaning pretty far backwards relative to a more average standing pose. Thus, this, if it was bearing weight, would do literally nothing to help, and the character would fall over near immediately. It's important to consider the like center of balance and where that is relative to at least 2 points. So those points being this arm and this leg. Yeah, I read your description. I don't tend to dress characters until I've gotten the like pose and anatomy done, because it's usually the best idea is to like figure out where things are going and then add the details. You know, because if you start adding details too early, then it's a lot harder to implement bigger changes where necessary, because you're never going to do anything perfect on the first shot. So you gotta like draw out the basic parts, and then you can add all the fun details. Which is why I try to do that as much as possible in my art, you know, actually finish sketching out the character before I start like adding the face and stuff. It's not easy. I want to draw the face. The face is fun, but gotta do the work first. Okay. This looks weird. Probably because the entire leg is at an odd angle. More like that. Yeah. It'd be more like... this, I think? Yeah. Okay. Made this a little more dramatic than is necessary. To pull this in a bit. Okay, what do I do with his other arm? Is the question. I think like general talking gestures make sense. Oh, this is a weird angle for a three-dimensional head. That works, I think. Yeah. And then we gotta fit the hair in there too. That one's smaller, these are bigger. Oh, I'm not talking a lot this stream. Ooh, important note. It's nearly flu season. Or it is flu season, actually. So, to any who have forgotten, make sure to get your flu shots and your COVID vaccines. It's around that time of year again, too. I got mine, I got both of mine yesterday. In the same arm, too. So, God, my arm really hurt this morning. And whenever I get, like, shots and stuff, my entire body hurts for, like, a day or two. It's really something every time, but, you know, it's worth it. A day of soreness for far more safety of myself and others is important. Still does suck though. I'm mostly glad that they were like, hey, which arm do you want this in? Do you want it in like both arms or just one? And I got to be like, put them both in the left arm, please. I have a stream tomorrow. My right arm is my dominant one. I don't want that to hurt. I'm very glad they gave me the choice so that I could pick the left one and just sacrifice that arm. I'm getting distracted with details. I need to stop that. He's got like anime hair. Anime hair. Um, I think, yeah. But then now we get to figure out arm length. Make sure that's actually the right length. It is not. Is it? Maybe. Something feels off. Might just be me though. Change the angle. Turn it a little bit. Make it a bit more dynamic. That's the wrong button. We spin it slightly. That looks a little better. Yeah. Makes it so that this is more of a straight line too. Or, I mean, not straight line, it's a curved line, but... And then you kind of want to pull this so that it's... Actually, hold on. For the sake of visual interest, we move this further. Like here, maybe. So that we can erase this and make it a straight line instead of a curved one. So then we have the contrast of a straight-ish line right next to a curved line, so it looks a little more intriguing. Pull this one a bit, make it fuzzy. Yeah, that is the... I think this is the fun part of, like, furry characters, is that they're real fluffy, often. You know, there's a lot of, like, fluff or fur or fuzz all over, which makes it really easy to have, like, intrigue in the line work without having to have a bajillion different lines and like different constructions on the character, because the character themselves just is broken up quite a bit by just by like textures. So you get a really fluffy character and you can have a lot of texture and thus a lot of like different lines all over without having to like have a bunch of I don't know, Final Fantasy 14 belts all over them. Oh, right, tail. Almost forgot. Yeah, gotta be strategic with it though, because if you just throw it everywhere, it might look weird. So I personally tend to put like fur lines at joint areas. Excuse me, at joint areas. Just because it's where the body tends to bend most often, so the fur itself will be disturbed a little more. Like you'll see it in like pets in real life often. Like when they're sitting, the tops of their like knees will sort of be fluffed out of it because the area is bent instead of being straight. But like their sides or their back will tend to be smooth if they're just in a casual position, because they're not really like moving a lot as like dramatically in those areas at least. Okay, and then right, these shoulders wouldn't be fluffy though because they are under a shirt. A travesty. Oh, necklines. Necklines. There we go. Okay. Gonna erase this mostly. And that. And crop top. Maybe like about here-ish. That line is at the wrong angle. Pull that out a bit. Okay, and then make it look like fur. Try not to make it look like a naked man. That's the wrong angle. Something like this. And then there we go. Okay. And I need to give him a tail, right? Let's do this on a different layer, because long, thin line tends to be a long, thin line tends to be rather annoying with keeping it consistent, and I don't think Krita has a tool that will put two lines next to each other. That is the only thing about Metabang Paint that I prefer over Krita, is that I have yet to find a like tool that will allow me to draw two lines at once. So instead of just this, I'd get this plus that, and they'd stay an equal distance the whole time. I've yet to find one. So I do have to go at it manually, which is something. I'm certain it exists. There's some artist out there that made it, but I have yet to find it. I haven't looked very hard though, to be honest, so that's my bad. So if we do this, then I can pull it back along this, and I think I will actually steal this original line I used and grab sections of it and just widen them. Grab a bigger section, actually. Because if we just move it outward... I didn't grab all of that. Damn it. Because because this is like a line that I was following to begin with, so if we just move it outward slightly, and I think if we squish it a bit so that the angle is less Well, actually, I think the angle is fine. So we do that, maybe? Push it this way a bit. There we go, there we go. Alright, that should work, and then we grab, like, this one, and move this up. Squish it that way a bit. And that, and we have a relatively functional tail line. And then we erase the bits in the middle that aren't supposed to be visible. Is that on a different layer? Yes, it is. Connect these two lines. Oh, right, I have to give him eyes. That mouth looks weird. Uh, oh, does he have like a scar or something? That's cool. Merge with layer below. Not a scar. Do cats have umbilical cords? I don't remember how mammals function. Neat. This muzzle is a little too long, I think. Yeah, I think more like here. Because cats have like shorter muzzles than other mammals do. Oh my god, this is causing me problems. Like here-ish. I think we just imply the line. 'Cause that's like half of art, is implying something is there without actually drawing it. Because the mind will fill in the rest. Rather impressive how much the human mind is willing to absolutely bullshit and just pretend is there when it certainly isn't. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, there we go. Look into the side, maybe. And give him the classic cat slit eye. Hell yeah. I want the hair to look a little more connected though, so I think we pull a bit of it in here over the cheek fluff. There we go. Okay. Oh, right, shoot. I forgot about the shoes. I forgot about the shoes. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I gotta fix that. I completely forgot about that. Whoops. Okay, so... Yeah, I'll finish up other details in a second. I forgot to add the shoes! Oh no. Oh god, how do shoes work again? That's a little too sharp. No, I know how shoes work. That's a rhetorical question. When I'm drawing a thing, I'll just say that sometimes. They're like, how does this thing work? I know how it does. I have been drawing for like, how long have I been drawing for? Most of my life. At least a decade, I think. Oh shit. Oh no, I dropped chat. Whoops. Let's unplug that. There we go. The fun part about this one is it's mostly hidden behind the other shoe. I don't really have to draw as much of it. And then we draw the pretend they're Converse thing. Well, no, actually, we'll just do a heel back, I think. Yeah, there we go. Does he have any, like, patterning, or just, like, one color? They look fuzzy. Looks weird. Mostly yellow. Okay, cool. Stomach is cream. Cool. Is this all one? Yes, it is. Under... Yellow. That is a terrible yellow color. Let's lean more goldish. No. Yellows are hard to work with sometimes. Hair is slightly dark yellow. Yep. I don't want to go too far into the red sector though, because then it stops being yellow. Color theory. It is on a different layer. Okay, we do this, and then... I think that's not light enough. I think those colors are distinct enough. The background is blinding, but, you know, It's how it be sometimes. And then we grab a darker color for the hair. Hue shift that a little bit. Yeah, okay. Well, and we move these over. Color pick. And actually, hold on. I'll make this easier for myself. Is this gonna work? Absolutely not. Yeah, well, that's what I get for using an opacity brush. By hand it is. Some blocking in. That's the one lovely thing about line art over sketching, is that I don't have to do this where I rough it all in and then color it all in again, but cleaner. I can select image, or like I can select the inside barrier, and it's a lot easier instead of condemning myself to hand doing it every time. But that's what I get for an opacity brush, so I'm willing to suffer. Yeah, I did. I selected the wrong brush again. I need to stop doing that. Okay. Ooh, coloring. Things to talk about. Ooh, I got a new game recently because it was on sale. Killer Frequency on Steam. It's like a mystery solving game where you're like a radio show host and you have like influence over the fates of your listeners. At least that's the description in Steam, and I'm very excited to play it. Funny enough, I saw that Game Theory played it on like GT Live and went, I should check that game out again because I've had it on my wish list for a while and I still haven't gotten it. And then I immediately get an email from Steam that says, this game you wishlisted is currently on sale. And I'm like, well, now I have to play it. And I had the funds, so I got the game, and I'm very excited to try it. I think I might play it after stream today. So I don't know, maybe I'll give my review of the game tomorrow while we're playing Hollow Knight. I think it'll be fun. I like puzzle games and like horror mysteries and all that stuff. Mysteries in general. Also, why another game, Ghost Trick, is on my Steam wish list. I want to get that one eventually. I'm hoping it will go on sale at some point though, because I like sales. Sales are very yummy. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe Ghost Trick. It's a very intriguing game from what I've seen. Unfortunately, I think I got a major plot point twist spoiled. I'm not 100% on the fact that I'm right, but a person I follow on Tumblr kept like reblogging and making a bunch of Ghost Trick posts. and I thought it'd be fine. So I didn't, you know, like filter out the Ghost Trick spoilers tag on Tumblr, and it was a mistake. I should have, because I think like a massive plot point in the game, like the biggest plot twist in the game was spoiled to me. I won't say it here, obviously, but you know, fingers crossed I'm wrong, just because rip, but I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure that was a major plot twist because it was a vague post about it. Like they didn't outright say it; they were vague posting. But still, regardless if it is true, that's a really cool plot twist, and even if I know it's coming, it'll still be interesting. Kind of like when I fought Nosk. I knew that like there'll still be twists and turns I won't expect. Because like with Nosk, I knew that, you know, the like, ooh, the Hollow Knight that's the other me is here. Ooh, spooky. I knew that was an enemy that I would have to fight. But what I wasn't expecting was, hey, guess what? That enemy, when you go back into its fighting arena, immediately shows up. You know, no hesitation, just the moment you enter the arena, the fight starts again, whether you've gotten your shade or not. And it's like, damn, dude, chill. That was like a fun spook. Hold on. We grab this yellow again. We hold on, and then we grab the other one, adjust the shape slightly, and then we go down to the blender tool that I now own. Needs more dramatic shapes. That I now own. It's always been in Krita. I just never noticed it before. Yeah, could use a little bit more interesting shapes to slice through before we do the blending brush. And then we go back down. After this, can you draw Tenma Tsukamoto as a superheroine? Sure thing. Blend it out a bit so it looks a little softer. A little too harsh there. This could use a bit more over here. That's still the blend tool. And then we use the cream color for the inside of the ears. Because cats tend to have lighter inner ears than they do outer ears. They don't really have fur in there, but most people still draw fur there, me included. So just picking a lighter color gives that sort of distinction. Oh, they're white and blue? I thought you said they're white and red. I'm glad that you mentioned it. I was gonna make them red. But blue they shall be then. Yeah, good thing too. I think having that like cool color in there is a good balance to all the like warm yellows. Adds a bit of contrast. Oh, it is red? Okay. Also good color concepts, because keeping everything in the warm allows there to be cohesion with the palettes. The fun thing about color is that you can do the same thing like 15 different ways, and all of those 15 different ways will look good in their own unique fashion. Okay, so that's the fur and the hair, and then red shoes. It's too bright. Also more orange than it is red. There we go. Okay. Gotta get close in that line. Very thin. There we go. Okay. Oh, if you're trying to send links in chat, it's not gonna work. Links are disabled in my Twitch chat. That's an eraser. Okay, I want to try and keep it like an off-white color, just so that it merges better with the rest of the image, but we don't want it too yellow, otherwise it won't look white anymore. As I have just demonstrated by making it too yellow. There we go. That's better. Okay, and then the whites of the eyes, we also do in that off-white color, because it'll still look perfectly white next to the yellow. And then the dark gray. That is far too dark of a gray. Okay, there we go. That looks brown. That's better. Okay. Rave music. I've said this like 20 times, but it's so funny to me. Just the most casual streams with the most hardcore music. I am thinking that I'll finally suck it up and go adjust the settings of how OBS is recording the music, so, and like how Twitch is interacting with that, so that my music doesn't go to my VODs, but everything else does, so that I can play copyrighted music without getting a copyright strike on like Twitch or YouTube. Because I don't want to be stuck with the same playlist forever. I like stream beats, and I mean there are obviously other Hair Seller stream beats playlists, but I want to try something new. So I think I'll finally stop procrastinating and get that done with. Especially because holidays, and while I don't celebrate Christmas specifically, Christmas music kind of slaps. Like, it's honestly a bop, and I'm here for it, so I want to be able to play that on my stream, and I certainly can't with my current setup. I would get mutilated by DMCA claims. I might get around to that, like, today or tomorrow or something. Probably Sunday, though, to be honest, because I have a stream tomorrow and other work to do today. Okay. What color are the eyes, actually? Are they like gray, yellow, red? Completely different color. Cyan! That's a good color. I like me a good cyan. Nice and poppy. Gets that blue tone in there, it's striking. Draws the viewer's eyes to the eyes. Buddy, hate to break it to you, I've been cutting you slack this entire time. You're not sneaky. I know where you've been going with this. Maybe chill. You're in a stranger's Twitch chat. You've been in here several times. I still remember all of your previous messages. It's okay, but, you know, generally, good to be a little more chill when you're, especially when you're not paying someone for something. You know, keep it, PG-13, potentially. It's not explicitly sexual, I know, but yeah, it's all good. Just for future reference. Okay, now, who was the other character? Tenma Tsukamoto. Tenma Tsukamoto. Aw, she's also cute. I really like the design for this, like, school uniform. With, like, it almost reminds me of, like, Madoka Magica, I think? Either that or, like, Tokyo Mew Mew. Tokyo Mew Mew. Am I thinking of Madoka Magica or Tokyo Mew Mew? Madoka Magica. I am thinking of both. Yeah, more on the Tokyo Mew Mew side, but like the like sort of pattern with these like school uniforms looks really nice. Okay, let's pull this reference in. Insert as new layer. God, that's tiny. Make that a little bigger so I can actually see her. Okay. My crit is in the wrong place. If you wanted me to draw her as a superhero, like as a specific one, or is this a thing where you already had a design for her? That would be unfortunate. Oh my goodness, I completely lost track of time. Oh, it's 7:50. Oh no. I can go another 10 minutes. Extend stream a little longer. Oh, oh, you're in the same time zone. Sick. Yeah. Pacific Standard Time. I'm very happy we're not in daylight savings anymore. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, PM. No, it is not 7 in the morning for me. Absolutely not. Cause I start my streams at like 5 for me. Oh my god, imagine starting stream at 5 in the morning. I could never. I should do like studies on like DC comics and like superhero comics and stuff, because they get wacky with their poses and their like stylization. It's really neat. Oh, I prefer not to share personal details. I am in America though, not Canada, unfortunately. I wish I was Canadian. I mean, Canada also sucks, but it sucks like slightly less than America. If only. If only. Yeah, honestly, in the future, I kind of want to move out of country. I don't know. Maybe go to Canada. Maybe go to like Germany or something. Or like France. I feel like China or Japan could be a fun place to live too. I think I might pick up the language a little easier in China though, just because I used to be in a lot of Mandarin classes, so I wasn't particularly good at speaking it, but you know, I have that sort of like basis, so something to go off of. I want to learn German in general though, so I feel like Germany or France, because French and German are languages on my to learn list. I feel those would be good places too. I live in a free country where I have rights. I'd wager America's debatably that anymore. We're kind of rolling back on that stuff. We're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit. I've been told that France or England are the best, as those countries are relatively similar and welcoming. Yeah. I don't think I'd fare well in England specifically. Just because of like a lot of the, I mean, right now, it might be better in the future, but they have a lot of like anti-LGBT legislation going down, which is RIP bestie. I mean, America's not much better, but you know, England is rough right now. But I mean, by the time I'm able to move out of country, it'd be a long while from now. Oh, you also want to learn French and German? Nice. Yeah, I feel like currently in America, at least, because I believe the top two most common languages are English and Spanish, if I recall correctly. I mean, obviously English, but like, it's it's our one and only official language. But like, I think Spanish is the second most commonly spoken language. It's either that or French, but I don't remember. So like French itself would be relatively useful, and I just like German. It's a really pretty sounding language. I think it's cool. One of my friends is currently learning German. Another of my friends is currently learning French, so I'm just surrounded by people who know other languages. I wouldn't currently call myself bilingual. I don't think I'm fluent enough in ASL yet, but I can hold a rough conversation in it. I've been learning that for like 2 years now, but I've been progressing relatively slowly because it's a little bit on the back burner. You know, it's not like my top priority. But I've been meaning to get around to practicing it more and like upping my fluency, going to like events and like talking to other people in ASL. I have another friend who also is trying to learn ASL currently. So we've been trying to like hold conversations in it more often for the sake of actually getting good at the language. Yeah, so I don't quite consider myself bilingual yet, but like once I can find myself in a comfortable state of fluency with ASL, then I think I would properly consider myself able to speak it. Links don't send in chat, so I unfortunately do not have access to that. Is it a specific pre-existing character, or just a design that you had? Wait, so it is a pre-existing character? Cool. So then you could just like tell me what the character's name is and I can Google them. My opinion on crop tops? I mean, it's a piece of clothing. I don't really care what other people wear. Uh, as long as someone isn't overtly indecent, then do what you want. Have fun with it. Expression through fashion and appearances. A very fun thing. I'd consider it an art in itself, fashion, and not just because I like designing fashion. That's separate story. But like people getting really creative with their outfits is really cool. I mean, I don't own any crop tops. They sure do look cool though. Literally, they look cold. Certainly not the time of year for those, huh? She looks like she'd be in a like hands on hips pose. Looks like a strong character. Oh god, hands. One problem with a hands on hip pose is I gotta draw the hands. Okay. Alright, I think, since it is getting pretty late and I need to have dinner soon, I'm probably gonna call it here. But, Jake or Rai, if you're want to like show up next Friday, I can finish this off for you. Because I'll be doing request streams every Friday until the end of the month. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll finish this off next Friday. Save this for now. Thank you all for coming by. I appreciate you being here. It's always fun to have people in chat. I stream Tuesdays and Fridays. I do art, and I do games on Saturdays. So tomorrow we'll be playing Hollow Knight. We've already gotten Two of the Dreamers, so we're getting pretty close to finishing the game. So I'll hopefully be able to play something new soon. At least before my schedule changed, because I'll be able to stream more in the coming year. But yeah, all my streams start at 5 p.m. PST, so feel free to come by if you wanna. What time of day it be, whether it is morning, noon, or night, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Bye bye.